We'll get this thing right as rain. Oh. Nader sirens. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today, well, I stole my dad's truck. So anyway, the story goes like this. He called me the other day, said his truck needs an oil change and stuff, and you know, in talking to him, he was complaining about a bunch of things on this truck. Now, this isn't like a daily driver for him. It's just kind of a beat around truck. And once you see it, you'll understand. So anyway, he did mention that the check engine light was on, but that it's been on for like 5 years, and it just recently started blinking. So, you know, that's great. And that it seems like it's down a little bit on power. As soon as I fired this thing up, it's definitely down a cylinder, and it's got some issues. I drove it back, and I was barely able to hold 55 miles an hour, and plus the steering wheel's just shaking out of your hands. I got a couple days with this thing where he thinks it's just getting an oil change, and maybe I'm looking at this front end shake, but I'm gonna see how much stuff I can fix on this truck in the couple days that I have it that is kind of above and beyond. You know, it's my dad. Why wouldn't I? So we're gonna dive into this thing, see what we can get done, and you know, how far we can get. And ideally, I'm not gonna put a ton of money into this thing. I mean, he's my dad, but you know, still. Let's get out here and get to work. No, that's not a big cam you're hearing. This thing's definitely misfiring, and it's down at least one cylinder. So I need to dive into this thing. But this thing is grimy and nasty under the hood. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it down quick with some degreaser. You know, super clean it is. And yeah, we'll get this thing washed off, hopefully, and easier to work on. So yeah. So I pulled the codes, kind of what I expected, and then power balance test. And little tip here, this is not what it should look like. But you can clearly see 8 is almost always down. Well, I got the number 8 spark plug pulled out just to see what kind of is going on with that thing. There was so much crap down in the hole that I had to get a screwdriver and dig it all out just to get a spark plug socket in there. So, yeah, not uncommon to have that with these 4.6s, 5.4s, all that. So I'm going to go in and clean this spark plug up, throw it back in there. Hopefully that takes care of the problem. It'd be nice if I didn't have to throw a bunch of parts at this thing. Anyway, whew. And the garage is kind of a disaster area right now. I got about 6 different projects going. But, yeah, here we go. Spark plug, you can see just all the junk down in the threads. And then this thing, like, it is... it is stuck in here. So much junk, I had to hammer this thing down past all the junk just to get it on the spark plug. So I'm gonna get this torn out of here and start cleaning it up, see where it gets me. Otherwise, the gap and stuff doesn't look too bad. Definitely looks like it either hasn't been firing or it's running super rich. Alright, there we go. All wire brushed up. Rechecked the gap. And took a little sandpaper in here. Clean the electrode up. I'm going to stuff this thing back in and see if we can't get rid of that misfire. Hopefully this is it. If you remember the clip before, you could see this trace line was dipping clear out on 8. Down, down, down. You can see it leaves kind of a gray remnant of where it had been misfiring. But for the most part, nice even line right across here. And that's what I'm looking for. So that actually took care of my number 8 misfire. Let's give it a little throttle and see what that does. Uh-oh. Didn't like that, but that may be a little bit of the water still in there. or 8 is back. Well, that didn't last long. Dang it. Well, you can see what I was talking about there. See how 8 goes past 4 and drops down? That's our misfire. Well, I ran out of time for the day, snuck it up to the shop and put it up on the lift, and look what I found. Let's buzz this thing back together quick. Just in the middle of the day, didn't really have time to mess with it. We'll get to this later. Well, after messing around with this thing a ton, late nights, early mornings, just off camera doing all the BS crap you guys don't want to see, I finally found the misfire. And it is stupid. And maybe it'll be a lesson to you guys. Don't overlook the easy things, right? So I've scoped injectors, went through, checked compression. I did even just some of the basic stuff, cleaned up the mass airflow sensor, and I tried looking at fuel trims, but the exhaust is so bad, it's a freaking spark plug. The first thing I pulled out, cleaned it up, put it back in, seemed to be okay-ish, and then it went right back away. If you remember the clip, probably just a little bit ago in this video. It's about a week later now. So what I ended up doing a little bit ago was swapping the spark plug from 8 to 7. Guess where the misfire went? Now, of course, you can tell I got it up at the shop here. I brought it up to the shop so I could do an oil change and stuff like that on it. I also went ahead and put a fuel filter on it, just, off camera. Nobody cares about that. Easy enough to do. And, all little things. I don't think this thing had ever had a fuel filter put on it. And it was about to rust through. So there's probably some clips scattered in here if I'm putting them in now or later, whenever. But the frame's busted in half. And so I just quickly mended this thing up. It is not perfect, and he doesn't care at all. I don't like that he's driving it like this, but, not my truck. I would do a lot more down there, trust me, but there is wiring and brake lines and everything right behind that split. And even the little bit of welding I did was starting to catch the wiring on fire, and I'm right next to the gas tank as well. So I kind of wanted to get in and get out and do enough, but not too much, if that makes sense. So anyway, we're gonna move on to the next thing here. I'm gonna put it back up in the air here in a second, and I'm gonna look at this exhaust. There's, basically nothing left of it. I know I have some broken studs, and I think everything else is gone. I don't know. I may scrounge around here and look in our scrap trailer or somewhere and see if I can find maybe like a muffler we've taken off something, or I don't know, whatever, piece of pipe or something, because it just dumps right at the back of the cab, and it's annoying. It's obnoxious. So anyway, he doesn't want to spend any money on this thing. I don't blame him. I personally thought it probably should have gone to the junkyard, but, he keeps stuff longer than I do. Anyway, let's get this thing up in the air and see what we're working with. As you can see, I don't trust this thing. So, screw jack it is to hold the rest of the truck up. I had to move this arm so far forward because of this frame. Yeah, the old booger job is holding up pretty well. I don't know if you can see this, but all that bow out right there is just this frame buckling every time I lift it. But yeah, cracked all the way up to here. I know this isn't the ideal way to do it. I just welded it all back together. I did put a little Band-Aid over it right here, but there's just nothing left to weld to. Yeah, I could take and get some, big angle iron, which I may go back and do and put it in here, but Man, this frame, you know, it's popping up here now with lifting it here, and it's popping here. Yeah, so she's not too long for this world. Anyway, the whole point of coming under here was to check out this exhaust. And I don't know if you can see this, but that stud, I think, yeah, that stud's hanging in there for dear life. The other side is gone. This side is non-existent. So, if we come back here, yeah, here's what's left of that pipe. And if you notice, it's not attached to anything. This whole exhaust is just flopping here, and it's held on by one stud. So, as much as it's gonna suck, I think I'm gonna try and pull that down, see if I can do anything about those studs. Maybe, hopefully. Probably a lot of off-camera work, so I'll be back to you if I come up with something. Don't do what I do. That ain't working. All right, so here's what I'm thinking, guys. I found this out in our scrap trailer. It's just like a, you know, glass pack resonator or whatever. And it's got this little 90 on it already. I cut the rest off and took a little bit off the factory exhaust. So now I'm much shorter here. I think I'm gonna just put this thing right here and shoot her right out the side. So I may end up taking and cobbling a little bit of that pipe onto the end of this pipe. And, you know, hey, free exhaust, not gonna complain. All right, guys, one high performance exhaust made to order. You can see I was clearly stacking dimes over here, you know, sending these video clips into some weld porn. Ended up just ripping the rest of this mount off this side and using a chunk of it, welding it straight to the frame. Again, zero prep, zero anything. I actually used the end of that to just knock some of the scale off, welded her on there, sent it. It's perfect. Welded that on, found this little chunk underneath the welder, and you know, that works perfect. Found this chunk in the scrap, and that's a brand new piece of pipe, so that's great. But yeah, there we go. Little side exit exhaust. It's probably still hot, but super sturdy. Now it's not flopping around like it was before. Well, at least back here. And yeah, don't mind any of that. Don't look at that. Look up here. Look at these beautiful welds. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a coat of the most expensive, only the finest here. Some John Deere muffler black paint, you know. If you don't have a muffler, you can just spray it with this and, you know, it turns it into a muffler. So I'm gonna go ahead and seal up these beautiful welds. Look at that. Looks like a robot did it in a factory now. Anyway, seal these things up, give them the best chance of, you know, surviving longer than the truck makes it anyway. And a nice tip, if you put high temp paint on something that you just got done welding, it instantly cures it. So we'll get a little high temp here, a little high temp there. Oh, she's just an absolute beaut here. Look at that. Beautiful. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference, but at least, hey, if he gets pulled over, it looks like he's got exhaust. So that is spectacular. I think I'm going to put it down and see how it sounds. Now, unfortunately, as I blind you here, unfortunately, I'm not trying to take this whole thing out. I was hoping that I could just take the torch and blow through what was left of the stud, maybe clean it up, or even just put bolt nut or something in there. Unfortunately, I think these have probably been replaced before with the Chinesium versions, and so it just disintegrated. So when you saw those fireworks, that's what's going on there. As I lower this thing down here, I just want to illustrate to you guys how much flex this thing has. And see that, beautiful body lines come right together. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Brand new. Let's check this exhaust out. Well, I mean, it's still super loud up here, but what do we got? There is some exhaust coming out of there, which is better than none. So, yeah. What I'm kind of thinking on these, I don't know if there's enough room to get in there, but what I'm kind of thinking is going and getting little tiny C-clamps and clamping them. I don't know. Maybe. So I'm just outside checking this out. I don't know if, any of it will pop up, but we just got a tornado warning watch thing. So, like a true Midwesterner, I'm out here looking for it. I don't see it. Anyway, back to work. Oh. Nader sirens. Cool. Anyway, if you saw my short that I did, you'll see that I put new wiper blades on this thing, and probably about perfect timing with the rain and hail and, tornadoes. But, yeah, he is not one to ever put wiper blades on things. So that'll work great. Oh, there I am right there, right in this fancy looking, boot thing. Is that bad? Sirens just shut off, and the lights flickered a little bit. Is that bad? I mean, it doesn't look like a scene from Twister out here. All right, well, it's a new day. I survived the tornado, and, well, I guess, unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know, this thing survived. Maybe I should have booted it outside. But in all seriousness, there was several tornadoes around the state last night. I feel terrible for the people that lost everything and, had issues with that. I make light of it here, but it is a pretty serious thing. We did have some around the area, and, it's a sad thing. But anyway, this piece of junk, I'm back on it today, and I came with some supplies. So we're gonna dive back into this thing. All right, well, I'm back under here, and we're gonna address some more of this frame. I grabbed a piece of sheet metal, plate steel, whatever you wanna call it, from home. I'm gonna booger this thing up. Now, one thing I did wanna mention, you can see this thing on my head. Woo, woo, that's kinda cool on this. I had this company, Odelphi, I'm not sure. I watched a bunch of videos on how to say it. I still have no idea. And, it is what it is. But they sent me a couple of these headlamps to try out. Now, I've been using one at home. I've been using one here at the shop. And I gotta say, it works pretty good. It has a bunch of different modes, but this thing's kind of the coolest part. It's motion activated. So, sitting here working away, I wanna see what I got going on. Just wave my hand by it. It's pretty freaking cool. I've been using this a lot around the shop and at home, and in fact I used it this morning just to fix my dryer at home before I came up here, and the thing works great. So battery life seems to be pretty good. Comes with cord and everything to charge it like you'd expect, and what more can I say? It's a headlamp and it works. It's pretty bright. Has a bunch of different modes on it, like I said. So if you're interested, I'll put a link down in the description. You go check these guys out. I don't know if I have a code or anything. If I do, I'll put it on the screen. But anyway, if you see me wearing this crazy thing, there we go. Anyway, mentioning them in the video. So, flip that back on. I'm going to take and booger this thing on here. You can see actually, you know, I'm doing it the right way. And I have all the weight off the frame. I have it supported in the rear with the screw jack. Obviously it's on the front, but I might need to try and probably slip this down under here. Something right along like that. I'm gonna mark out for these rivets, make a few little cuts, bend that thing back up into place. So let's get started on that anyway. Cool. I'll cut this out and get it bent up and get this thing slapped up here. Alright, I'm going to spend just a hair of time on cleanup duty on this thing, get some slag off. You've seen what I'm welding to, so I'm obviously not that concerned about fit and finish. I'll go grind the frame down a little bit, just enough to get, you know, some decent enough welds on there. This isn't a show car, obviously. So I hope at this point you guys kind of get the point of the video, if that makes sense, that I'm trying to put next to nothing for money into this thing. Obviously, it's not even my truck. It is my dad's truck. I want him to be safe, but he doesn't want to spend any money on it. He just kind of wants to band-aid it and get it going down the road. He wasn't even worried about the frame being busted in half. He said, well, if you got it in the air already, could you just put a weld on it? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Right now, I'm just going to kind of tack everything in place. Damn it, I see I missed the mark there. Oh, whatever. Hammer will fix that. I'm going to get it all kind of tacked in place, hopefully kind of where it needs to be, and then we'll heat this up a little bit, bend it up, and then go through and weld it. But don't expect a whole lot as far as the welding goes, because I'm welding, you know, good steel to crap and rust. So, you know, coat of paint and maybe a little grinder action will fix it. Oh, I'm losing more truck than I'm putting back in. Alright, not perfect, but you can see I've readjusted the lift to actually sit on it, kind of push it back up in place, and then just went through and welded everything out. It is not pretty, but that's prettier than what was there. So, again, it's better than nothing. Alright, well now that we got that thing all patched up, we can move on to super important stuff, like some of this body work. Yeah, anyway, I must not have taught him very well because, you know, duct tape is not the proper solution for this rust. You know what is the proper solution, though? Old license plates. So we're going to go ahead and stab a few of these bad boys on here and, you know, get this thing looking right. All right, so the proper way to do this, obviously, is to grab your kitchen scissors and don't let the wife see you, and then, you know, you just trim her up to shape. Get this thing bent a little bit around your knee, or whatever fine surface you got, and then send it. I don't care about that little overhang. Maybe I do. You know, no sense in half-assing this, right? Let's do it. Let's do it all the way right. There, that looks much better. All right. And then, of course, the only proper way to hold these on, self-tappers. So I'm going to shoot some of these in here, and we'll move on to the next step. Perfect. Oh, we'll throw one more in there just for good measure. Look at that, you'd never even know. All right, so then, of course, the next step is proper body work. You want to get the Rust-Oleum because, well, we're painting over rust, and, you know, this fixes it. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep this thing up. Yep, that looks good. And we'll shoot her down. Boy, that is, oh, there we go. Must not have shaken it well enough. I don't know if you guys can see that. That looks like, yeah. Oh, that's perfectly color match. Go ahead and fix that rust there. There we go. And don't mind the dirt and stuff. You just paint over that. That's no problem. Fix that rust back in there. And a little bit there. I'm leaking. Okay. Of course, you want to blend it in. Blend it in with the old paint so it's barely even noticeable. There we go. Good as new. You can't even tell that this thing ever had any rust there. Perfect fix. I mean, you look at that. It's about 8 to 10 feet away. Where's the repair? Can't even tell. That's exactly what we want. Probably going to need a little more advanced technique back here, so of course we want to remove any old body work. Like so. Get that out of there. And you can see this is all caved in. You know, up here we don't care so much, you know, all over. Get the BFH out. We'll get this thing right as rain. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Alright, you know, grab a chunk and wedge it in here. You want to make sure you wedge it in there for, you know, proper styling and also better aerodynamics. Round that edge off a little bit so nobody accidentally loses a finger. But yeah, wedge her down in there. Yeah, like it was meant to be. I mean, I don't see how you can do that any better. Yeah, you just dig in here. Remember, feather it out. Feather it out. Don't worry about the dirt. That's fine. You just let this stuff eat right in there. Go ahead and fix that body work there. Yep. Feather it a little bit. Yeah. That's perfect. All right. Dirt on there. Now, get this old stuff off maybe. All right, let's fix that real quick. Bet you guys thought this stuff was just for mufflers. Yeah, right. So again, license plates coming in clutch here. Look at that. Perfect body line. Good. There. A little bit. Tricky part. And yeah, that's good enough. You know, when they look at this down at SEMA, you know, I mean, if you get real close, you'll notice that, but otherwise, I mean, it's good to go. All right, well, I mean, I'm gonna play around a little bit off camera here and, you know, get this thing all spick, shine, beautiful. But I got other stuff to do on this truck, so, you know, I'm gonna play with this. I think that's about all the body work and, you know, paint work that I'm gonna be able to teach you guys. If you can't do that, I mean, I don't know what to do. You know, there's no helping you. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and fix all this stuff, you know, get that all right. But let's go ahead. I think I got a solution for the exhaust. So let's go ahead and move back onto that. Good, good. I don't know, where's the repair? You tell me. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking on this exhaust, is I bought a few of these little tiny C-clamps, and basically I'm gonna cut the, whatever little arm off here, and I'm gonna weld a nut onto the end, and hopefully I can slip this up into place, and then run it in with, impact or whatever, ratchet, something, and clamp all that exhaust back together, because there's no way, I was messing with it last night, and there is absolutely no way that I am pulling all those manifolds and doing all that, because that's what I'm going to have to do, is pull the manifolds. Not a chance. So a couple bucks in some clamps, and let's see if this works, I guess. I mean, I know this is going to be next to impossible for you guys to see, but, it is what it is. Man, don't tell me I grabbed two smaller ones. That's going to suck. I grabbed two smaller ones. Well, what else can we do? All right, well, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and I think it'll work. I just need to go back and buy some that are the right size, like 2 inches probably. These are 1 inch. So I'm gonna have to go do that. I'm also being summoned home at the moment. So unfortunately, I think that's probably gonna do it for today, but maybe tomorrow we'll get back at it. Maybe a month from now. We'll see. Anyway. I also have a slight amount of mess to clean up before I go home, so I gotta do all that. I don't know what this truck's deal is with wanting me to work on it at night and in inclement weather, but here we are again. It's like a week later now, actually, and I have a good reason for waiting this long. If you've seen in some of the clips, these things are shot. I got a solution. Check these bad boys out. Now they may be, full of water and all that. Don't let that deceive you. These things are some good new used tires. Thanks to my buddy Nathan. Shout out Nathan. Anyway, I'm gonna get these things slapped on here. My dad's always complained he wanted a little bit narrower tire on this thing, so these are actually a 255 75 17, where those are 265 70 17. So nice mud tire for him. He probably wouldn't have taken anything less, even though he says he would, but yeah, I don't care. It is what it is. So I'm gonna get these things slapped on here and try and fix up all these leaking rims while we're at it. These things are so corroded and nasty that he says he's got to add air to all 4 of them at least once a week, if not more. So we're gonna grind these things down, see if we can get all that nasty peeling chrome and corrosion off there, and hopefully get this thing riding better. I'll be the first one to admit it, these things are junk. The chrome's peeling off on them, and yeah, these center caps have seen better days for sure. I already fixed one, and for the most part, well, they're all trash. But, hey, 3's better than none, right? Hey, it's got 5 matching lug nuts. That's a miracle. Well, I'll tell you what, you gotta be probably a special kind of slow to put a 13/16 socket or a 13/16 headed lug nut on an aftermarket wheel where it really should have a 3/4, but we'll make it work, hopefully. This one doesn't look bad. I'm worried about the ones that have been missing caps for years. nice enough to mark with a Sharpie though which holes it is. So I got that going for me. Alright, let's get this thing over to the tire machine. You think he's driven on them flat once or maybe 20 times? Yeah, I'd say so. Curious to see what the inside of these look like, because that is hashed. Get you up real close. Yeah, real nice. Ooh, watch for the sharp chrome. Tip you guys home. Yeah, wheels that are flaking like this. Ooh-wee. Ta-ta! Watch the hands. And if I make it through all 4 of these with my fingers intact, I'd be impressed with my skills. Now, if these were rims I actually cared about, you know, with these lips and stuff, these are just a pain to freaking work on anyway. I don't care on these. Let's go. Jump on there. See the carnage. Whoa. Junk. Oh boy. Whew, that's a nice one. And see the issue with a lot of these aftermarket rims, like right there, the chrome peels off. And what happens when the chrome peels off? Look, it starts corroding, uneven surface, and it's all wadded up in here. And that's a surefire way to have a bunch of bead leaks. So we're gonna take the old die grinder, like so. I like these little purple pads. These things work pretty good. And just buzz the crap out of this. Take all of that down as good as we can. We'll hit it with some bead sealer. Hopefully never have this problem again. Here you can see a good example, kind of a before, where that's all bubbling up, and then after, where I've ground that all down. And the reason it's bubbling up is under here, there's a bunch of corrosion. Ow. You can kind of see, like right there, all those white spots, that's all corrosion building up, and I about cut my finger again. Yep, I'm all right. But I'm gonna take and knock all of this down. Work all the way around. You can see I'm burning through the chrome down into some of that copper plating or whatever it is, and try and get this thing as smooth as possible, and then put a good heavy goop of bead sealer on it. So I'm gonna work on that for a while, and yeah, we'll get back to you. Normally, I'm partial to black letter out or black wall out. I don't know why, but this truck's just telling me to put these white letters out. Maybe it's because all 4 tires match. I mean, that's weird. But anyway, I think I'm gonna roll with that. So let's get this thing mounted up. Looby-dooby action on here. Did I mention that already? It's just sketchier than crap mounting them up. This may be a trick in and of itself. Yep. Oh, okay. E-blaster time. What the? Well, what they say, safety eventually. Here we go. Perfect. You know, I think this is going to be one of those deals where I just get it close. It didn't even have wheel weights on it before, so I'm you know, kind of that mind that anything is better than nothing, and we'll see where this gets him. He was complaining of a really bad vibration beforehand, and I saw that there was no weights on this thing, but I also saw how bad the tires were, so it's probably a combination of all that. This thing's wanting, you know, a butt ton of weight, which is usual for my tires. Close enough. Better than it's probably ever been. We'll send it. Sounds like it's just freaking pouring on me again. I think I lived in Florida or something. Yeah. Oh, there we go. More rain. You can go back home anytime now, so it can stop raining. Yep. All right. There we go. Phew. One down, 3 more to go. Obviously, these things take a ton of effort and a fair amount of time. I'm not going to bore you with those. I'm just going to get them knocked out. And yeah, we'll get back to you. We're getting close to the end on this thing. Still want to try and fix the exhaust. I didn't bring anything with me tonight. I knew I just had probably about enough time to knock these tires out. Something I've been putting off for a while anyway. And yeah, we'll see what else we can maybe get into. Let's get a look at what this center cap will look like. This is the one I fixed the other day. But, well, I mean, you know, once you take it to the car wash, you get this chrome spit shined up, well, that makes it look even worse. Maybe we'll leave them dirty. But, yeah, I mean, better than the nasty. Either way, I tried. So sue me. Well, that looks a lot better. Those things are going to do a lot better for them. They're going to ride a heck of a lot better. Really need to clean this thing up. I'm thinking a car wash is probably in order. I know. I don't know that it even deserves the car wash, but I got a coupon for a free one, so maybe I'll use that. Anyway, that's enough for tonight. Well, this morning at this point, I got an early day tomorrow, so I need to get home, get showered up, and get to bed. I am sweaty, dirty, nasty, and tired. I gotta get this thing out of here, close up shop, and head home. Well, here we are again. Anyway, I stopped at the old hardware store there, picked up some bigger C-clamps, and we're going to try and tackle the rest of this exhaust. Hopefully the these things do the trick. So let's get this thing up in the air, dive back into it. All right, well, change of plans. I had to drop this thing down off the lift because I have been tasked with running to the store and picking up a bunch of bags of dirt for our garden. And I guess luckily, I have this thing. I'll just throw them in here, why not? Doesn't make any sense to run home and get my truck when I already have this. Plus, might as well test drive it. I think I might even wash it while I'm out. It's a hot day out, and yeah, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. If you guys want a quick trick, a neat little trick, check this out. It's super clean. Let me show you. Get some headlights that are just a little bit yellowed. Nothing too bad here, but look at that. Just takes it right off. Give that a coat, let it sit. I'm gonna wash this thing here in a minute, but I'm just kind of going around hitting all the nastiness that's on this truck. And hopefully this stuff beats it up enough that we can get most of it off. That stuff worked really well. There was like black mold or moss or whatever growing down underneath here. A little soak and it was just dripping out. Pressure washer probably didn't even really need that, but look at those headlights too. That turned out pretty nice. I might put a little coat of wax or something on those. Call that good. And yeah, I picked up something to fix this bumper back up, so I wanted to blow all the loose paint off of it and everything, and that should look pretty sharp. But otherwise, yeah, didn't clean up too bad. Don't mind, you know, don't mind all that. We won't look back there. But otherwise, you know, rest of the truck, not bad. And I'll tell you what, it is a scorcher out today. I think it's tipping on 90. High 80s anyway. And you know, out of all the things that don't work on this truck, and it's a lot, the AC blows ice freaking cold. Yeah, anyway. Well, back to the shop we go, try and fix the rest of this crap, and maybe get this thing returned to him. I'm also glad I put wipers on it. That came in pretty handy. Alright, finally back to the shop. Yeah, I'm in a different bay. I'm actually in our alignment bay. You can probably see the clip if I threw it in there before. Driving down the road, this thing actually drives straight as an arrow. Steering wheel's like that. I'm guessing the alignment's off some based on the old tires. It's probably off quite a bit. And I'm gonna see if this old rusty junk can break loose and maybe get the alignment straightened up. Otherwise, while I'm in here, I'm gonna throw a coat of paint on that bumper and you know, maybe some final kind of spit shine stuff. Retorque the lug nuts, throw the center caps on, take it out for a quick drive, make sure everything's good, and hopefully get this thing back to the old man and get my car back. Yeah, anyway, maybe look at that deck. All right, well, like 2.5 coats of truck bed liner, and that thing is hiding all that rust and nastiness perfect. I'm letting that stuff set up and dry, but in the meantime, I went ahead and threw just a coat of wax on the headlights. Look at those things. I am actually kind of blown away at how it took all the yellow out, just that super clean, and soaking it and then just rinsing it off with the pressure washer. I went ahead and you can see all that chrome shining. Look at that. But just hit it all with the wax, you know, just everything. Hit the, you know, the bug shield, everything. Nice coat of wax. Didn't hit the yellow, but, you know, whatever. Hit the Ford emblem. Got it shining nice. Look at that. Anyway, this stuff, you know, nice textured bed liner, just cheap stuff out of the can like you'd expect. And, you know, even this side that wasn't looking so hot, not too bad. Nice little reflection. Look at that. Hey, yeah, I got a little on my thumb. Anyway, but yeah, those things, I am kind of blown away at how nice that turned out for just spraying some stuff on, rinsing it off, and sending it. Anyway, other than that, while I was kind of waiting for paint to dry and whatnot, I did the patented old Stubby antenna. Now, I know it doesn't look like it, but, you know, when I don't want it to be super, like, you know, crazy custom, I usually just cut it off right about the roof line. I know that's kind of hard to tell, but it's pretty even with the roof. So I actually ended up taking probably like 6 or 8 inches off this thing. It was way up there, like that tall. Anyway, if you want to see more about just like how to do that, I do have a video on the channel. It's super easy, doesn't cost anything. You just you even retain the little ball on there. So, you know, go check that out if you're interested. Like I said, link in maybe in the description if I remember to do that. But yeah, otherwise it's just on the channel. So I gave that a coat of just some black I had laying around, coat of clear coat, had been letting that sit outside and bake in the heat, and you know, got that thrown back on. So can't do you know, all this work without doing something a little bit custom. Anyway, time to tackle this alignment on this front end, and you'll see why I'm you know, procrastinating a little bit once we get under here. Well, I mean, you can imagine at this point why I'm procrastinating. Anyway, let's get it up in the air. Yeah, my level of want to mess with these is next to zero, but not quite zero. You know, it'd be nice to get this thing to not chew up these tires and go through all that mess and get the steering wheel straight. And plus, I told the old man, he does know I'm doing this, but I told him I was just going to check the alignment. Now, in case I haven't said it already, you know, he does know that I'm working on this, but he has no clue what all I'm doing. I just, you know, he asked me to take a look at the misfire, do an oil change, and that was it. You know, maybe if I had time, look at why the front end was shaking so bad. Well, the front end was shaking so bad because he had crap tires on there. Anyway, he doesn't know basically any of this. He knows that I got the misfire figured out, I did the oil change, and I'm looking into why it's shaking, and I told him I was going to do an alignment and stuff like that. But as far as all the other stuff, it's kind of going to be a surprise to him. You know, exhaust, things like that, cleaning it up. He's not going to care that it's cleaned up, but I care that it's cleaned up. So, you know, maybe once I take this back to him, if he's there and if he actually even wants to be on camera, maybe we'll get a little bit of a reaction from him. That'd be kind of neat, you know. Overall, he's probably not going to care all that much. He might care that he got new tires, but, you know, yeah. To him, this thing's a super solid truck. If I haven't said that already, he thinks this thing's mint. I told him it needed to go to the junkyard, but, you know, what do I know? Well, as I suspected, this is, of course, with the steering wheel turned straight, with it, you know, way off center. It wasn't too bad, but toe was still way out. Obviously, camber caster way out. This thing is so rusty. I am just forgetting that I saw any of this, and we're going to focus on these two guys. So you can see huge toe difference. I'm surprised this thing actually drove straight down the road, even with the steering wheel turned. But yeah, we're just gonna square the toe up and we're gonna ignore whatever the rear says. What does the rear say? Yeah. That's grayed out for a reason. So we're just gonna worry about these two guys, get this thing driving straight down the road and hopefully not eat these tires alive. Yes, I know. Look at the rust, consider the truck. This will be perfect. It's open. Holy crap. That actually came loose. I figured I'd have the torch in here for sure. That's only one of them though. Let's try this one. That's a Christmas miracle if I've ever seen one. Is there any flats or anything left on this? Maybe. Can we get this one to turn? Holy biscuits. Alright. Here's hoping. Let's see, this should go. No, this will go this way. Right. Maybe. Oh! Holy crap. This one goes. If this one goes, I think I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket after this because I figured I'd be here all afternoon. Oh. Get some leverage on this guy. No, I'm just going to break my hand on that. Alright, let's do cheater action. As I like to say, I'm going to science this one off. Oh, good. Easy. Look at that. Throw a little science at it and it comes right apart. Anyway, will this move? Oh, yo. It'll move. These a little looser. Get off there. Come on, baby. Just a tickle more. A little tickle. Just a wee bit. Little. Oh, what? Too much. It's too much. Too much tickling. Come on back. You know, guys, for this thing being a complete piece of crap and really not worth fixing, I cannot believe that worked. And, you know, like I said, we're gonna pretend we didn't see the rest of those numbers. It'll be fine. Yeah, that went way better than I thought. So, cool. Next thing, obviously I've been procrastinating on the exhaust. Well, this thing was hot. I just had to use it. So, I've been doing all these other things because, ideally, I wanted to give it time to cool off. So, hopefully that stuff's cool. Probably not. Probably gonna get lots of burns on my hand. Yay. Anyway, let's try and clamp that exhaust up. Let's see what we can get out of this thing. to make an executive decision because this thing only has 3 center caps left. I assume one is in a ditch somewhere halfway to Missouri. But well, I got these other ones fixed up and painted and everything. Good enough. Maybe a scooch more. Perfect. Anyway, I figure, you know, you always walk up as the driver to the driver's side. So I'm gonna put both of them on the driver's side. I'll leave the passenger rear one without, just cause. Anyway, that doesn't look, you know, half bad. I threw a coat of tire shine on here, and I even went through with a rag and just, you know, did something. So, better than it was. I guess kind of following in the theme of this truck, you know, those wheels with them just a tickle of spit shine and those center caps painted up. I mean, the whole truck's a 50-footer. I mean, those look decent from 10. I mean, look at it. Tell me that isn't a good-looking wheel. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're good-looking wheels to start with, but tell me from here, that doesn't look, you know, okay. The whole truck kind of looks okay. You know, look at that. We'll get her out in the sun and get a real good look at this thing. But first, that exhaust. Still procrastinating. Exhaust time. Back to the old welding station here. Let's zip these together. I went ahead and got 2-inch instead of the 1-inch. Hopefully these work a little better. All I could find was some old jam nuts. And holy smokes, who was welding what on this? Yeah, we'll go about there. Sounds like something to do. Sure, it's centered up. Of course, it's way too big for what I need, but you know, we'll work around that. Ouch. Probably put the little hood on. Since I'm getting burnt and being blind. Perfect. Beautiful. Look at that. How hot is that? Not at all. Go quench that. Do it again on the other one. We'll get these slammed on the truck. You know, sometimes my creativity and engineering prowess just blow my own mind. I guess I shouldn't speak too soon. Let's see if these work, I guess. Let's go throw this on the truck. Look at that. That may even be better than factory. That just zipped right on there. It's fitting perfect. It snugged it right down. That actually worked great. Now the other side here, we'll move over. It sits at a little weirder angle. Unfortunately, you can see I had to do it by wrench. And yeah, I mean, it still works. It's on there. I don't know if that one's quite as good, but I can't really get to the top. So one may have to do it. Good thing all I bought was 2. It's still better than it was by far. So actually surprisingly quiet. Well, before anyway. So I'm really curious to see how well this fix does. And yeah, to you up there, little buddy, good luck. All right, moment of truth. Let's twist the key on this thing. See what we got. Oh yeah, whoops. Forgot to take all my, take all the stuff out from doing the alignment. Oh, I'll put that away, and then we'll twist the key and see what we got. All right. Well, I mean, it's still gonna have leaks because it's got broken manifold bolts. This side was the worst. I mean, all you really hear is the broken manifold. Well, bolt anyway. Not bad. Yeah, plenty of exhaust coming out of there. Let's give her a little rev, see what she sounds like. How about that? Well, if I can go back and find the clip from, whatever it was, several weeks ago, I'll try and put those two clips side by side because I think I was about the same distance and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, from where I was sitting, other than the fan being stupid loud, because I still have the AC turned on and it's spinning, this thing seems a lot quieter. I'm curious to hear what that sounds like going down the road. Anyway, are we done? I mean, surely not, right? We might be done. Well, I guess we'll pull this thing out and see what we got. All right, well, I think this is it. New day. It's the next morning, and I got a little time. I'm gonna run this thing out to his place. I don't know if he's home or, more than likely he's out at auction or something like that. That's what he typically does on the weekends. So we'll see if he's there. If not, maybe we'll get some cool shots out in the timber or whatever with this thing, and park it up and head home. So anyway, let's get on the road. For being a shoddy alignment and some used tires and stuff like that, this thing actually rides surprisingly well. It was violent before. You'd run at 55, and I mean, this wheel was everything you had to hang on to it, and you're lucky to walk away with all your teeth. It's not bad. I mean, it rides like an F150 with some mud tires on it now. Let me know if you guys want to see this thing in a future video. Well, there we go, guys. He was home. I was able to talk to him for a few minutes about it. He actually had some other things he needed help with around the cabin. And, so we kind of went right to solving those other issues. But we did sit around, kind of BS about the truck a little bit. He was really happy to have the tires, really happy to have those not leaking anymore. He gave me crap a little bit about my body work. Said I should have ground the rivets off and made it all smooth. I mean, whatever. Anyway, he was more than excited. Actually wanted to take it out and go for a drive with it right away. But then it just started pouring on us. So we both kind of scattered. I jumped in the car, got out of there, and once the rain let up, I'm sure he went and took it out for a drive. And I think he was just really happy to have the thing back. There was a few times while I had it that he ended up needing it and didn't have it. But like I said, not really a daily driver for him. It is just more of a haul loads of this or that around and move some antiques or whatever. So overall, like I said, I think he's happy with it. I'm happy with it, knowing that, you know, he's not gonna wreck and the truck's not gonna break in half. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget, you know, leave it a like. If you made it this far, definitely go down, click the like button, you know, let me know that you enjoyed the content. So anyway, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I know this is a longer one, and for those of you that made it this far, awesome. Anyway, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.